So, can anyone tell me what pagan holiday is coming up at the end of this month?
Eek, Halloween.
Let's see.
Oh,
I don't know.
Sam Hain.
Samhain?
Yeah, or is that what's called?
It's looking pretty dark out though.
Well, we're going to get started here. Tonight, we gathered to reflect on a topic that many engage in without realizing its deeper implications: Halloween. This festival is celebrated with costumes and candy and spooky decorations, carries a history intertwined with paganism and practices that Yahweh warned us against it through His Word. As we look further into this subject, we will explore the origins of Halloween, its spiritual significance, and what it means for us as followers of Messiah. As Halloween draws near, many partake in traditions of costumes, trick-or-treating, and haunted houses, often unaware of the deeper and darker origins behind this festival. Beneath the surface lies a complex history, deeply rooted in ancient pagan practices, and later blended with religious and cultural influences. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 19 to 29, we are reminded. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 19 through 29. And I will read the entire set of verses. Starting at 19. What then do I say? That an idol is of any value, or that which is slaughtered to idols is of any value? No. But what the nations slaughter, they slaughter to demons, and not to Elohim. And I do not wish you to become sharers with demons. You are not able to drink the cup of the master and the cup of demons. You are not able to partake of the table of the master and of the table of demons. Do we provoke the master to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? All is permitted me, but not all do profit. All is permitted me, but not all build up. Let no one seek his own, but each one that of the other. You eat whatever is sold in the meat market, asking no questions because of conscience. 10:26. For the earth belongs to Yahweh and all that fills it. And if any of the unbelievers invite you, and you wish to go, you eat whatever is set before you, asking no question on account of the conscience. And if anyone says to you, this was slaughtered to idols, do not eat it, because of the one pointing it out to you, and on account of the conscience. For the earth belongs to Yahweh, and all that fills it. Last verse, 29. Now I say conscience, not your own, but that of the other. For why is my freedom judged by another's conscience? Halloween pagan origins reveal a profound connection to practices that Yahweh explicitly forbids. To understand the full picture, we must journey back to the ancient world, where Halloween, originally known as Samhain, had a very different meaning. The pagan roots of Halloween. In ancient Celtic tradition, Samhain, pronounced as they pronounced it, Samhain, Sahwin, Samhain, marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter, a time when the boundaries between the physical world and the spiritual realm were believed to thin or become transparent. During Samhain, the Celts believed that the souls of the dead could return to the earth, mingling with the living. It was a time to honor ancestors, seek guidance from the spiritual world, and perform rituals to ward off evil spirits. Bonfires played a central role in the Samhain festival. Celts would light massive fires to offer sacrifices, burn crops, and livestock as a way of appeasing deities and protecting themselves from malevolent forces. People would also disguise themselves in costumes made from animal skins and heads to confuse wandering spirits. A tradition that evolved into the costumes we see today. Another practice during Samhain involved divination, attempting to predict the future using methods like scrying, which is spelled S-C-R-Y-I-N-G. Scrying, where participants gazed into reflective surfaces like water or mirrors. People sought spiritual insight for the coming winter, which was often fraught with uncertainty and danger. The influence of the Catholic Church. As Christianity spread throughout Europe, the Catholic Church sought to replace pagan festivals with its own holy days. To this end, Pope Gregory III moved All Saints' Day, a day to honor Christian martyrs and saints, to November 1st, directly following Samhain. October 31st, the eve of All Saints' Day, became known as All Hallows' Eve, which was later shortened to Halloween. Despite the Church's efforts, many of the pagan customs remained intertwined with the new religious observance. People continued to wear costumes, light fires, and engage in traditions that echoed the old pagan ways. The mixing of these practices created a holiday that blended elements of both Christianity and ancient paganism. The Bible warns of such mixtures. Thus says Yahweh, do not learn the way of the nations, for the practices of the nations are worthless, as we read in Jeremiah 10, verses 2 through 3. Thus said Yahweh, do not learn the way of the nations, and do not be awed by the signs of the heavens, for the nations are awed by them. For the laws of these peoples are worthless, for one cuts a tree from the forest, work for the hands of a craftsman with a cutting tool. The Bible warns against pagan practices. Throughout Scripture, Yahweh warns his people to avoid engaging in the customs and practices of the pagan nations. The Bible specifically speaks against divination, witchcraft, and necromancy, practices that are at the heart of Halloween's origin, as we read from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31. Do not turn to mediums, and do not seek after spirits to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Leviticus 19:31, verse 31. This verse highlights the dangers of dabbling in the occult, which often takes center stage during Halloween festivals. The Bible is clear. We are called to be set apart,
As believers, we must not allow ourselves to be ensnared by the traditions of this world. Yahweh's command is clear. We are not to dabble in the spiritual practices of the nations, which lead us away from the Father and into deception. Halloween, with its focus on the dead and supernatural, stands in direct opposition to this. The book of Deuteronomy echoes this warning. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 10, 11, and 12. Starting at 10. Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens or as sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these is an abomination to Yahweh. And because of these abominations, Yahweh your Elohim drives them out from before you. The Wiccan connection to Halloween. In modern times, Halloween has found a new spiritual significance in Wicca, a neo-pagan, nature-based religion that arose in the mid-20th century. For Wiccans, Halloween is known as Samhain, one of their most important holidays in their wheel of the year. It is believed that on this night, the veil between the physical world and the spirit world is at its thinnest, making it easier to communicate with the spirits of the dead. Wiccans celebrate Samhain by honoring their ancestors, creating altars with photos, flowers, candles, and offerings to invite the spirits of their deceased loved ones. They engage in rituals of divination, such as tarot reading, scrying, or casting spells to seek guidance for the future. Scrying or scrying, a definition. A practice of looking into a medium to receive messages or visions, often most associated with Wiccan traditions. Bonfires are also lit similar to the ancient Celtic tradition as a symbol of purification and transformation. Costumes and masks are worn to honor the spirits and to symbolize the blending of the living and the dead. For many Wiccans, Samhain represents a time of deep reflection, spiritual transformation, and renewal. However, the Bible warns against such practices. You see here that the Wiccans have taken almost everything the Celts invented back when and are using it today, calling it the same thing that the Celts did, Samhain. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 6. And the being who turns to mediums and to spiritists to go whoring after them, I shall set my face against that being and cut him off in the midst of his people. In today's world, Halloween has been commercialized and largely divorced from its pagan roots. For many, it is simply a night of fun, costumes, and candy. Yet, the spiritual undertones remain. Many of the practices associated with Halloween, costumes, celebrating the dead, engaging in fear-based activities, are steeped in traditions that the Bible warns against. Yahweh calls his people to live in the light, not in the darkness. The book of Revelation gives a stern warning. Revelation chapter 22, verses 14 and 15. Blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city. But outside are the dogs, and those who enchant with drugs, and those who whore, and the murderers, and the idolaters, and all who love and do falsehood. Those who practice sorcery, witchcraft, and idolatry will not enter into Yahweh's kingdom. Come out of her, my people. As believers, we are called to separate ourselves from the deceptions of the world. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4 proclaims, "And I heard another voice from the heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive her plagues.'" The traditions and customs surrounding Halloween may seem harmless, but they are deeply rooted in practices that go against Yahweh's commands. The time is now to come out of Babylon, to reject the way of the nations, and to follow the path of righteousness. While these practices may seem harmless to some, they stand in direct opposition to Yahweh's commands. In Revelation chapter 21, verse 8, it is stated, "But as for the cowardly and untrustworthy and abominable and murderers and those who whore and drug sorcerers and idolaters and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death." We see the serious consequences of engaging in such practices. We are called to be holy. So how do we respond to this knowledge? We are called to come out of Babylon and separate ourselves from the customs of the world. Revelation 18, chapter 18, verse 4, declares, "And I heard another voice from the heavens saying, 'Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues.'" As believers in Yahusha, we are called to live in the light. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 8 through 11, it reminds us, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Master. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is well-pleasing to the Master, and have no fellowship with the fruitless works of darkness, but rather convict them." In closing, as we approach Halloween, let us reflect on what it means to walk in holiness. While the world may celebrate with costumes and fear-based entertainment, we must stand firm in our faith. We are called to honor our ancestors through remembrance and prayer, and not through participation in the practices that defy Yahweh's will for us.